When I get on the pitch, all I want to do is score. You want to leave your mark on the game. To think I've arrived, that's it. You know, that's it now. I can stop now. It's completely out of the question. It's not. It's the furthest thing from my mind.
Get your camera in.
But he's usually there when you need him to score goals. 10 out of 10, I think he's brilliant.
He's quick, he's fast, he's dangerous.
You never see him slack. He's always trying. He's a trier. He's always trying all the time.
He's got so much skill, and he really controls the ball well, so it's just really great. He's brilliant.
I think he'll play for England for a long time. Hopefully we won't lose him to one of the Italian teams.
I was born in the army barracks in Woolwich, and that's as far as it goes, as I know to what happened there, because everybody says I didn't even know there's an hospital in Woolwich, but it was an army hospital, and that was it really. I was born in Woolwich, moved to Brockley, in that kind of area, Brockley, Lewisham, that kind of area. That's where I grew up, basically.
He wanted to go to school badly so he could play football, because Morris, his bigger brother, you know, say, I'm in the school team and I'm in the school team and stuff like that. And he wanted to go to school so badly that I had to take him before he was even 5. Because the first week he went to school, he started playing football. The very first week. Only half days, you know. Only half days. He was wicked. He was a wicked little boy.
My mum bought me and my brother a West Ham kit. And what was it, my brother? I think he had number 10. I had number 8. Or vice versa, I can't remember, but that's my first recollection of football.
I was a 4th year in our primary school, where he was a 2nd year, and he was playing for my team. Whilst I was a 4th and he was a 2nd year, he was so recognised from then, you know. And I was thinking to myself, well, he's got to be that good, because there's a lot of players that's bigger than him that could have come in the team, but they picked him.
It was here at Turnham Junior School in Forest Hill, South East London, that Ian's sporting talents were really discovered, in football and cricket. But another famous old boy has very different memories of Ian Wright.
We used to walk up the park with a few friends of mine. We used to come to play on the swings because we were younger players, younger lads, and we didn't want to join in with the big boys. And they used to see us, and they never used to have a goalkeeper because they all wanted to be Pelés and Maradona on the pitch. So we used to be walking past, and it used to be one of them. Oi! Get over here, get in goal. And obviously we were only little kids at the time, and compared to them big men, and then when they stick the ball at us, we never really fancied it. But like I said, that was the early days of remembering Ian bullying us.
I think some of the members of staff, how did he get on at school? Some would call him boisterous, some would call him talkative, and some would call him probably a nuisance. But he was a likeable nuisance.
I should have paid more attention. I used to be too much of a, you know, want to make a joke, want to be the one that everybody's having a laugh with, you know, saying something cheeky to the teacher or something like that. Anything just to distract. It used to always be on my report, you know, always distracting the other kids.
Now can Bowles round it off? He has done!
Stan Bowles. I don't know, it was just something about him. He was just so skillful. You know, he had this kind of, he weren't bothered on the pitch. You know, it's just that arrogance. There's flash. You can be really like flash. People say, oh, he's flash, and then you can be arrogant, and people like that arrogance. And I think he was like arrogant. He had a natural arrogance that I really liked. Laurie Cunningham, Sir Regis. Laurie in particular. You know.
And here comes Regis. He's lined it up.
Because I met him last season when we was on the pitch, and he was saying to me how sharp I was when a free kick was going, and I was saying, But Cyril, you're my idol. You're my idol. I love you. I love you as a man. You know what I mean? And you know, he's laughing. And we had a laugh about it. But Cyril Regis and Laurie Cunningham definitely. Well, that's... When I left, I wanted to work in a sports shop. I wanted to be a sales assistant in a sports shop. Just go through that because I thought, not that it was easy, but you know, it's something that I'd still be in touch and all that. You know, I got a job at, in a sports shop. It didn't last long. It faded out. You know, it didn't work out for me. And then after that, I just flitted around really.
Ian had already given up the idea of playing professional football after rejection from 3 league clubs, Millwall, Orient and Brighton. But he found a home at Sunday League side 10 MB.
Someone was meant to set something up for me at Millwall, and I went on the chance of like saying they already done it, and so I'm coming down now. And what happened? They didn't do it. So when I went down to Millwall, they said, yeah, Ian, well, who are you? Where'd you come from? I said, someone was meant to set up a trial for me and this and that. And they said, anyway, doesn't matter. All right, then have a train. And then I trained with them for about 6 weeks. It was brilliant. I enjoyed it. I remember Andy Massey used to train us. And nothing came out of that. They gave you the normal line, write your name on that bit of paper for his son, you know what I mean, and then we'll get into contact with you.
Unlucky Dave!
Brighton, I thought I played well enough in the trials and the time when I was training down there for them to warrant saying, like, let's try him for like 3 months, let's see what he can do, you know, let's sign him or something. But they didn't, and that's when I said to myself, well, that's it, I'm just gonna see how I can get something like a plastering, try to get into plastering in that kind of way, you know. I started to think trade-wise now, I've got to get a trade, I've got to get something stable.
I remember it quite vividly. His first job I gave him when he first came to the refinery was to actually use a jackhammer, which is like a heavy breaker, in a really horrible, wet, smelly area. And all right, he might have probably turned his nose up first of all, but he got in and he'd done the job and he appeared to be enjoying himself.
But there, no, don't. Yes, Barry! Hey, Barry, I didn't fancy you as well. But what says, right? Eric was watching the ball. Barry! He was going to go over there. He said scored.
He follows that up. He follows that up.
He thought he was going to go in. What's he following up for?
I followed it all the way in.
I followed it all the way, but still, you can't say he should
have. a forward, isn't it?
He didn't have to thingy, though. He didn't have to square it. He shot.
Shut
it down! Shut it down! What did he get a penalty there for?
It was brilliant. You know, the guys who we played with at the time, my mate Conrad, Freddie, you know, I can't name everybody, you know, obviously them two, because we were in that kind of age group and we related to each other more. We did have some older players who were quite experienced and all that, but when, you know, you used to have fun and that, it was me, Conrad, Freddie, Elka, you know, Chambers, brilliant times, you know, and we used to really hammer teams. Some teams we used to slaughter them.
We played this final at Dally. It was really funny. They said, we all had to take the day off work, and we was playing for 10MB at the time, and they said, right, we're going to do this all professional, like, and we're not used to that. We just, like, turn up Saturday, we play the game. So We met about 11 o'clock, we all went and had something to eat, and they said no players slipping off to have a drink or anything like that. And we think, oh, what's going on there? This ain't like Saturday, like we meet in a pub. So like a couple of players slipped off and Ian was one of them. So everyone's saying like, where's Ian and this and that? And we turned up and like we won 5-1 and he scored 4.
Get used to this. How long you scored a legal now? Last week, commentary, mate.
I used to be going to get the bus to go do my training with Arsenal, and I used to see him on the bridge, and I used to have a moan at him, really, even though I was younger than him. I used to moan at him because he just saw such great potential, and you just wanted to see, you know, what he'd be like playing in the First Division, and obviously he's gone on to prove to people he's a great force to be reckoned with.
By this time, you've got to realise that Ten and B had realised that they're saying, I'm too good to be with them now. You know, I'm wasting my time being with them. I need better football. So they wanted me out now, kind of, you know, in the nicest possible way. They wanted me out. And, you know, I was deciding whether to go to Greenwich Borough or go to Dulwich Hamlet. And I was doing a pre-season with Dulwich Hamlet at the time.
Right, you got it out already? Ma! I say right out the palace. Much the time. Andy, I'm working. Oh, sorry. Ah!
Cheers. Now we're using Andy Gray's car. Suits the style of the man. Rough, rugged.
Rugged man. Yeah.
But reliable. Open the door and let me in.
Ian went and did a pre-season with Dulwich Hamlet, who was managed at the time by Bill Smith, who's a great colleague and friend of the club here. He helped us out on numerous occasions by lending us players and, you know, scouting on the non-league scene for us. So I take myself along to King's College Sports Ground in Western Road, Mitcham here, which is very local. And lo and behold, the very evening I turn up, there's a training game going on, Possibles versus Probables, which Ian's playing in. So I don't even make myself known, I simply stand and watch the game from the sidelines. And I think Ian scored 4 or 5 goals like prior to half-time, at which stage Bill took him off, and I then sort of introduced myself.
You know, I already, you know, had it all before. Like I say, I was in this frame of mind where when I was played as well as I was going to play, when I played at Brighton, and I was on trial there, you know what I mean? Even if I do get a trial with Palace, you know what I mean? When you go on trial, you're nervous, you know, things don't happen for you, you know, and, you know, if you don't play well, they're not going to take you, so I didn't care, to tell the truth, to be right on it, I didn't care.
And Ian came down training with us, and it was obvious that he had exceptional ability and skill. And I think within a couple of days, we tried to sign him on a contract. I think it was, Ian played a few practice games here at the training ground, which looks a lot better than it does now in the summer. And Ian's pace was showing up like a beacon.
He played his first official game for Palace in a friendly against Kingston and made a wicked start.
I was enjoying it, so, you know, I didn't feel pressured by going to play. And, you know, everything just came out well, you know. We was playing quite well, we was doing quite well. And, you know, we beat them 1-0 and I scored, which was really nice. And then, you know, after the game, the boss came to the dressing room and said 6 o'clock tomorrow at the ground. When I got to the ground the next day, and then he came to the changing room and then he said, come with me a minute. And then I was following him, walking up to the Sainsbury's end. He was walking like he does. You know, I was behind him like a little kid. You know. And, you know, I went up to his office and he said, we're going to sign you for 3 months. You know what I mean? I was like, that was it for me. You know, I couldn't believe it. So I signed that deal for 3 months, not knowing at the time that, you know, I was thinking that I wondered if he really fancied me because he's only signing me for 3 months. We've had a talk about it. I said, boss, how come you only signed me for 3 months? Couldn't afford it at the time. Couldn't afford it at the time, you know what I mean? You know, the money was tight.
Money was tight in the early couple years, forcing the club to experiment with raw talent like Ian. His league debut came in August '85 against Huddersfield.
All I remember was I was really out of breath. I just felt like I was just running after the ball all the time. I was just running after it, not like never reaching it. You know what I mean? It was just so funny. You know what I mean? I just remember not hardly touching it and just feeling so tired. You know, I can't even remember one touch what I had.
Every week, Ian, my son, used to be a sub, and he would always get off that bench and stick a goal or two in the back of the net.
The first time he performed this routine was against Oldham in October, with Palace trailing 2-1.
They started singing, and they just started singing, right, and I was saying, they're singing my name, like, you know what I mean? I started to get all twitchy because I was saying, oh no, he's going to put me on, you know what I mean? And I was scared, and they started singing it, and then they started singing it louder and louder as the game went on and on. So then after he said, all right, get your gear off. You know, and just before I go anywhere, she used to say, go on, get me a goal. So I went on, and then must have been about, I think it's just that, I don't know what it was, because the crowd, I came on and the crowd were happy I came on, it must have injected everything. Everybody was lively now. You know, I'm not saying they expected me to do anything, but, you know, it just that impetus that everyone needed. And, you know, we scored within a little while. Kevin Taylor scored. And then it went on, the crowd was buzzing, everything was brilliant, bang. And then I think there was about a couple of minutes to go. Alan Irvine, I remember it quite well. He got the ball, he went to cross it, and he cut back on his left foot, and he just hung it up to the far. And I just jumped and just headed it in. I couldn't believe it. I just ran, it was like I ran for miles. I ran all the way up the touchline, saying, like, you know, kind of saying, thank you for calling me on like that. It's so, like, when I look back now, I feel so embarrassed if I saw it, you know what I mean? It made me die.
Ian was soon a first-team regular, finishing the season with 9 goals and a new contract. But the real turning point came in the following season with the arrival of a new striking partner.
I remember having a meet with the boss, and he said that he'd got a young lad up front, and he needed guidance, and he thought that if we put the both of us together, my little bit more experience and Ian's enthusiasm, thought we'd make a good partnership.
Well, in your mind's eye, you see combinations, and I saw Mark Bright play for Leicester on a number of times, reserve team football, and I just thought in my mind's eye that the two of them together would be a good combination. I thought Mark's strengths would complement Ian's and the other way about. And to a great extent that has proved right. You know, it's probably one of the few occasions when something which I have planned in my mind has actually materialised on the pitch.
The boss said I think they hadn't won for 6 games, and he said he was desperate to get a new player and a striker in there to give the crowd a lift, to give the players a lift. And when you come in as an outsider, you don't realise what's been happening. And I just thought that people just liked a little bit of confidence, and it was sort of a snowball effect from there. And it was nice to score on the debut, and it was sort of a good response.
Wilson's onside, Woods committed, a goal for Ipswich. Wilson, Brennan shot in off Wilson. Wright, now Bright, and it's dropped in. It's going to be a hat-trick for Wilson. Taylor, brilliantly hit.
I remember the game against Ipswich really well. It was 3-3. And I remember Mark, it was just like, when we was playing, like obviously when he came, like the boss said to him, when we talking, he tells me, the boss said, you've got to help Satch. You can do this for him, you can do this for him, and you can be this and you can be that. And all I remember Mark saying to me on the game was all the time is, keep going, you get something, you're doing well, keep going. And, you know, in the end, you know, he scored and I scored. And, you know, and he said to me, I told you you get something. And since that day, you know, whatever he says to me, when he says, like, if I'm going through a patch where I'm going off my head and I'm just, like, not concentrating, and he says, Ian, come on, oi, you get something, keep going. And, you know, it just brings me back to Ipswich, and I say, yeah, I remember when he told me when he first come, you get something to just keep going, and, you know, it just snaps me back.
Wright and Bright were soon an established pairing, and they helped Palace to finish the 86-87 season in the top 6, repeating a trick the next year. They shared over 40 goals, Ian grabbing more than his fair share.
Room here for Wright. Goal!
Well, I'll use that one. See you on the pitch.
As the 88 and 89 season opened, Palace emerged a stronger side, one tip for promotion, especially with Wright and Bright thriving.
I was having a better time in front of goal. I thought I was finishing with a bit more precision, and I was taking chances, even half chances. I think that goes with luck as well.
Off goes Wright again. He's absolutely bursting with energy. A chance and a goal! Now Wright. Can he get the shot in? He has done. And Wright wants this one for himself. He's overrun the ball, but he still scores.
But I remember there's one game, the Brighton game. It was a great occasion, you know, because we're like the fans are rival fans and that. And you know, I think that was when we missed about 3 penalties in it. I think there's 5 penalties in the whole game, and we missed 3 penalties, but we still beat them 2-1. And like, you know, that's where I think I scored one of my best goals ever.
And Brighton let Wright get away here. Wright going into the middle. Oh, that's a phenomenal goal! He really had no business thinking about shooting then, let alone scoring.
Ian Wright's goal-scoring form didn't desert him, a total of 24 goals in the regular season. But even his goals couldn't earn Palace an automatic promotion place. Instead, it was the dreaded playoffs. A 1-0 defeat at Swindon in the first leg of the semi-finals left Palace an uphill climb at Selhurst Park.
Swindon is definitely the best atmosphere I've played in at Selhurst Park like that before. It's full to the rafters, you know, and because like with the seats now, it doesn't seem like there's so many people there. And there's so many people, there's so much noise there. And we just come back from losing 1-0 up there, you know, and we turned it around, we beat them 2-1. You know, and it was a great day, man. It was a brilliant result for us.
And Bright, a goal for Palace. They've levelled it on aggregate. And Mark Bright scores. Bright, no offside. It stands. It's the final whistle. And Crystal Palace now take on Blackburn for the greatest prize, a place in the First Division.
Went up there, I thought we played quite well at the start, but they scored a couple of goals, and then, you know, the time was running out for us. Not even a minute after that, we went up the other end, Eddie scored. You know what I mean? We was on the rafters, jumping up all over the place. And then not even a minute after that, they scored again. So, you know, we're back down again, and I couldn't believe it. You know, everyone was gutted. Went in the changing room. Everybody was like, how did that happen, this and that? You know, and, you know, we took it back down our place. Everybody knew what we had to do. No one needed motivating for that. You know, the boss needn't even have been there. He could have watched it on the telly because everybody knew what they needed to do. And, you know, we just went out and done it.
Pardew. Blackburn looked for offside. Wright missed it. Wright didn't! It's what they needed as they look for a road to recovery here. Alan Pardew curved it across, and Ian Wright just ahead of Terry Gano. McGoldrick really going at Blackburn. Henry's tackle, and McGoldrick goes down. Penalty! Dave Madden scores! His nerve held! Incredible scenes here as McGoldrick crosses and Wright's unmarked! It's promotion for Palace!
You know, you see at the end of people's seasons, you watch the match of the day and all that, and you see at the end of the seasons if people go up or if people go down, you say, God, look at these mobs. Oh, that's brilliant when people want, and then they want you to throw you their shirt and all that, you know, and you know, I was saying, God, that's brilliant. And, you know, when it was happening to me at the time, people see it and they say, gosh, man, weren't you scared? I said, no, because what happened was, a couple of my mates was in the crowd. Like Arthur and Charlie and Sefton, they was in the crowd, a couple of my mates, and they just made a little, like, circle for me, you know, and they led me through to the tunnel. But, you know, it was brilliant, great day.
Thanks a lot.
Fireworks greeted Palace's arrival back in the First Division after a break of 8 years. Ian Wright had been voted the club's Player of the Year, and Selhurst Park wondered if the team had the right stuff for the big time.
I was a little bit apprehensive about it. I was a bit frightened because you're going into the First Division and you want to know if you're good enough. You've got that in the back of your mind, am I good enough? You know, like you watch them and you see them on the telly and all that, and you say, am I good enough? But, you know, I used to always speak to David Rocastle, and, you know, David used to say, you know, don't worry about it, man. You'll be all right. You know, it's good, but, you know, once you get your feet in there, you love it. And, you know, he was right.
Yeah, you worry from week to week. Even now, I think, well, maybe the polish is worn off and people know what to expect from the pair of them. I don't think they are as prolific as they would like to be, or as they think they perhaps should be. But the fact remains that they still score goals on a sort of 1 in 3 game basis, which matches any striking pair, I would think. And they are the focal point of the side.
Palace's first home game, Man United, and a capacity crowd.
Hughes had a chance, but Robson came in behind him and took his opportunity.
It's a great place in the night, Palace, for the night games. Full house. You know, Man United came down. They had a really good team. They played quite well that night, to tell the truth. It was a bit unfortunate not to get the win. But, you know, we kept going at them, you know, like we do. You know, and in the end, we nicked the goal. We nicked the goal in the end, and that's all you need to do, really. In the First Division, I find now, it's the main thing's not losing.
Dyer, who glances it on, Ian Wright!
The rest of the season was a roller coaster ride, one that Ian Wright will never forget for the rest of his life. things were going pretty well.
Oh, Young hesitated. Bright got to it. Ian Wright with a goal now that really could confirm Palace's first win of the season.
Then everything caved in. September the 12th, 89, a bad day for Crystal Palace. Anfield and 9 goals.
I didn't feel humiliated, but I've just felt really bad. I don't know, I can't really say how I felt. It was just so embarrassing. You know, I was looking around at like my mates and that, you know, and I saw, you could see it in them as well. You know, we didn't know how to react. We was just like, we were still going for the game and we was getting hammered, and it's like, you know, the boxer, he gets up and he gets smacked straight back down. That's what we was like. It's like watching a Rocky film, you know, he's getting smacked down by this big Russian. He just got back straight up. Just get, like Rocky won. We didn't win, but like, you know, that's what it felt like at the time. And the good credit to Liverpool, none of them really took the mickey out of us and like wound us up and said any horrible things. But you know, like I say, we learned from it. We drew strength from it, and you know, we came back for it. You know, and I think that's just a testament to our character in the side.
While Palace drew strength, there were some better moments, particularly for Ian, as Palace battled to establish themselves.
On right! But Pemberton looking to change the picture. Here's Wright. Oh, that's magnificent. Direct, dangerous and deadly. Thomas, and Wright spun. Wright is away. The referee saw nothing wrong with the way he turned Monk out. Ian Wright with a splendid solo goal for Crystal Palace. Pemberton to take it. Wright, it's his goal.
With 9 First Division goals and the press clamouring for England recognition, things were going Ian's way until Liverpool at home.
I went round Bruce Grobler. My body was twisted awkwardly. My leg was right there and my body was like funny. And you know, as Venison came over, he's done a great tackle, credit to him. And you know, I thought all I've got to do is nudge this in. You know, and he came across and he took the ball and took everything out like that. You know, and you know, it just, like as my leg, the strain was on my leg already and it twisted. It must have, as he caught it, it must have just cracked it.
Ian made an amazing recovery, but in only his 3rd game back at home to Derby, disaster.
That was the stroke. I was crying and everything on the stretcher. I thought that's it, the season's finished. That was the first thing in my mind. I wasn't thinking of nothing else. World Cup, semi-finals, anything. Nothing went in my mind then. All I was thinking was, now my season's finished. I'll never get back now.
With Palace on the cup trail and talk of Ian going to the World Cup, it couldn't have come at a worse time. The side faced a cup semi-final with Liverpool, but Ian had his own problems.
It's a funny story, really, because me and Mitchell Thomas went up, and Mitchell's mate Stuart, he drove up because I didn't go on the coach with the boys. But, you know, it's such a funny story because we just got there. We were struggling at the time. We bombed it down the motorway and everything. And I didn't get, and I weren't going to get there on time. So I got there and it must have been about 10 minutes to 3. And I got outside Villa Park, this doorman. You're not coming in here, lad. This is him to me. I said, I've got to get in there. I'm a player. I haven't got, where's your pass, he said. I said, I haven't got a pass. I'm a player. You know, I've got to go in to see him before they go out. You're not coming in here without a pass, lad. You know what I mean? I was so frustrated. I just wanted to you know, grab him and just like get him out of the way and just run in. And if it wasn't for this little kid at Villa Park coming up to me and saying, Ian, like, can I have your autograph? I don't think I would have got in.
And Russia's done it. Pemberton, very positive start to the second half for Crystal Palace. Good cross too. Salako. And now Bright, it's in. O'Reilly. Palace are in front. And now McMahon. Barnes to take it. Barnes to score. Put it on by Thomas. Grobbelaar comes for it. Thomas goes again. And Andy Gray's there! It's a Palace corner, Gray takes it. Pardew forced it in!
When Alan Pardew scored, like my voice was just like non-existent by then. You know, and when the whistle went, you know, I just ran on the pitch. I forgot my leg. You know, I had this big, massive boot on. And I ran on the pitch, and, you know, and as Bright was there, and Andy came over, and it was just like so emotional, and like, you know, it was great. You know, you can't explain those feelings.
A classic match, but for Ian it was now a race for the impossible, to be fit for the final.
Everybody was saying, "Oh, don't risk it, man, don't risk your leg. You know, you've got what's it called? You've got a career ahead of you after football. You know, you've got to worry about things like that." And you know, I just had to say, one time it got on to such a stage where people were saying, "You got to worry about your life after football." I'm saying, "Listen, man, if I've got half a chance of playing the FA Cup final, you know, you can't tell me, like, you know, I've got to worry about my career afterwards. I worry about my career afterwards, man. But, you know, if I've got a chance of playing the FA Cup final, something that I've watched since I can remember, you know, I don't think nobody's got any right to say to me, you know, don't try and play in that if you've got half a chance."
There were times when I doubted that he would actually be fit enough to get back again, but Ian carried on and came in every afternoon with me as well as every morning, and we trained very, very hard. It wasn't difficult to motivate him because he had that at the end, and for all of the members of the club at that time, it was a very special occasion.
The 109th FA Cup final was a special time for everyone at Palace, but Ian Wright knew he would not be in the starting lineup.
He told me a couple of weeks before, you know, No, he didn't say anything really. You know, you could see by the way he was building up, you know, the way he was doing his shadow play, you know what I mean, and all that. You know, I could see that he weren't going to play me. It must have been a hell of a decision for the boss as well, though, you know what I mean? You know, because if I did do my leg again, you know what I mean, I would have been, like, right for the start of the season, and that would have messed it up, you know what I mean? So, you know, I'd never, like, say to him, "Boy, you should have played me in this game, and you should have played me in that game." You know, I just couldn't stop looking at the place, you know what I mean? It's a great place, and, you know, it was a great day. It's a cup final day, the sun was out and everything. And, you know, and Dave was saying, "Get warmed up." And when you get warmed up, the crowd are saying, "Go on here now, go on here and get on there," and this and that. And, you know, and then we scored.
So Gray is okay. Barber takes the free kick. And is it over the line? Gary O'Reilly got to it. McClare. Robson!
And, you know, I remember them calling me or something. You know what I mean? I looked up, like, you know what I mean? I remember them calling me or something. And I went up, and I was on the floor doing a stretch, and the boss was talking to me, telling me what he wanted me to do and this and that. He said, "The next time the ball goes out, you're going on. If this ball comes anywhere over there, I'm just going to run onto it and hit it." I said, you know what I mean? I said, "You can't lose. Just run onto it and hit it." And I was just fortunate, really. You know what I mean? I don't want to lose breath or anything like that. I don't want to do anything silly, because when you score in the FA Cup final, you normally, like, go on a mazy run. So I just stopped, and I just fell to the floor, and everyone was on me. And that was it, really. That's the first time I felt really part of the team.
Throughout the whole game, I wasn't looking at the game. I was looking at Ian, like, on the side, like, warming up and everything like that. And I could hear the fans all the time calling him. So Ian Wright. So they called him to come on. And then when he did come on, it was so brilliant, and he came and scored. It was unbelievable.
Good work from John Salako. Oh, it must be! It is! It's right!
Someone laid it to Jeff, and he knocked a great ball into John. He ran down, fainted to go down there, cut back. And all I saw was, once I saw him cut back, I knew exactly what he's going to do. So I just said, right, I'm just going to arrive on the far area. If it gets there, it gets there. You know, if it goes over me, then it goes over me. But it was just a magnificent ball. Just had to meet it, really.
It's just one of them things that you write in a book. I mean, if we could have won the final 3-2, it would have been superb. It would have been great for Ian, great for the club. The support was superb, but, you know, it wasn't to be, not that year anyway.
Wallace, room to turn. Hughes peels off on a run. Hughes! 3-3!
No, we look back on it like we lost. You know, and it's those 7 minutes. You know, it seems like such a short space of time. But, you know, obviously we was gutted because I thought we'd won the game.
The replay was a shadow of the first game. Manchester United's solitary goal enough to dash Palace's hopes. Again, Ian Wright was on the bench, but this time there would be no fairy tale ending.
I was disappointed the boss didn't start him, especially in the second game. But I think the boss thought of Ian as well as himself. And I said to the boss, why didn't you start him in the second game? And the boss just said if anybody had kicked him and his leg had gone again, then he would never have started the next season. And that was more important to him for his career because it was just setting off in the First Division. And I think that's true. And I think the boss made the right decision as far as Ian Wright's concerned.
Well, I had to accept whatever he done, really. Obviously, me scoring 2 goals the Saturday before didn't help him with the press. But, you know, the boss, he's single-minded. He knew what he was doing. I thought the way we played, the formation we played initially, I thought we done quite well. You know what I mean? I thought that because he could have brought me on to change it when things went wrong. I thought that he'd done everything right. Just didn't work for us the second game.
As the 1991 season opened, most punters tipped Palace to struggle after the euphoria of Wembley. Fortunately, the players weren't listening. It will be the most successful league season in the club's history, another Wembley final and the Player of the Year nomination for Ian Wright.
Good work by Humphrey. Oh, it's misjudged by Johnson. And Wright's got the better of him and chips Besson.
I think the fact that we're up there, I don't think a lot of people are happy about us being up there. You only have to read the press on a Sunday sometimes to see that. But you ask any of the management side, Branny, the boss and Smithy, they're not here to make friends, they're here to get results. And they know the way we play, we can get results. It can work in this division.
Palace were riding high, but the acid test was, as ever, Liverpool. They arrived on Sunday, December the 30th, before live TV cameras.
And Ian Wright goes on, promising this for Palace. And turned in at the near post by Bright. And Liverpool are behind.
It's nice to see them things down at Palace, because like the boys make a joke sometimes. They say, like if we was in the final, like the FA Cup, but if Torquay and Halifax were playing, they'd say something like, Torquay and Halifax 2, like Torquay 2, Halifax 2, and by the way, Palace got into the final today. We didn't get no recognition from anyone. So for us to get a game against Liverpool and beat them down there was quite good.
next week.
By mid-season, the calls for Ian Wright's inclusion in the England team had grown. Surely, it was only a matter of time. He'd been in the squad before, but hadn't even made the subs bench. The Cameroons were on the way, and the Palace fans held their breath.
Everybody was standing in a circle, and then he just named the people. I remember telling the reporters that it was like when I was at the district trials, and at the end of the trials, they name you individually. And, you know, he named it out. He's saying, David Seaman 1 and what have you 2, and then he said, Paul Gascoigne 8 and Ian Wright 9. And, you know, I just said, boy, you know, boy, I've done it, man.
I always felt he had the ability that no other player in this country has got, and I still believe that he can do things that nobody else can do. Whether he has the qualities to maintain that over a period of years, and you know, it's always a lot easier to get there. The hardest thing is to stay there.
We started training, and you know, you look around and you know, you see John Barnes over there playing on the same side, knocking into you, calling you over, and Gary Lineker and Gazza and Stuart Pearce and people like that, and you say, well, you know, I'm on a par with them now. You know, no matter what happens, I'm a part of the team now. I've got to do my bit.
He's very quick, mobile, does the unexpected. He's liable to beat somebody quickly and get in a quick shot. And he's that type of player. He's always going to be dangerous. The ones that do the unexpected are the ones that defenders don't really like playing against.
Well, Ian came into the squad for the Poland game. I mean, he's lively, he's excitable, or he's exciting to watch. I mean, he's excitable at times as well. Yes, he's been in my thoughts because he's a kind of player that sets a game alight. And I think at international level, well, at any level, it's good to have that. But at international level, you sometimes have to someone who can unlock the door, so to speak, of the opposition.
Good night. You can't stop. What drives people on? What drives on people like Maradona, Van Basten, the Carecas, all them world-class players who have got everything? What drives them on is ambition. You know, I think I've got enough ambition to want to be on a par with them.
Like, if he didn't play another game, he could be relatively satisfied with his career. He could look back with some satisfaction on what he's done and say, well, you know, I've done it. I've been there, I've been at Wembley, I've scored goals in finals, I've done a lot of things. But the mark of a true champion, the mark of somebody who is exceptional in his field, is somebody who's not content with that. They want to do it again and again and again, and they have that inner drive. to keep on going when perhaps others would be satisfied with the monetary gain, with the status they have, and just relax. Ian's got to keep on driving to make sure that people talk about him as one of England's best.
My daughter now, all I say to her is, what do you say when Ian Wright gets the ball? And all she walks around saying, goal, goal, goal. So that just about sums him up, really.
I think he's just starting, really, and if you look at the way he's just started, what's he going to be like in another year's time? So I wish he was at our club. Even though we've got a few good strikers, it'd still be good to have him at Arsenal. Ron Notes won't like me for saying that.
People say he had a lot of flaws, like myself, like any other players. You can pick players to pieces if you want, but Ian had great strength and determination, good attitude to train, good discipline in his preparation for games, and his desire, I think, passion to play. I think he'd been out of the game as a youngster, and when he got in, he wanted to make up for lost time.
Remember, my son went in football late, right? You see, others been in from 15, 16, 17. My son went in late, in his 20s. So I think I am the proudest mother of a football son. Right?
Ian's also a proud parent, spending as much time as possible with sons Brett, Bradley and Sean. And Sean certainly inherited Dad's talents. Just 8 years old, and he's playing for Turnham Junior's first team against the 11-year-olds.
Well done. You're missing some good stuff here.
Did your son get the match ball?
They should have had two balls, one for him and one for the other team, bro, the way he's playing.
What was the score?
I believe that Sean Wright will become better than his father.
It's a new ball game now for me. You know, Palace took me here. Now England's got to take me wherever they're going to take me. You know, at the moment I'm in there, you know, in the squad, and that's good enough for me at the moment. Whatever he wants to do now is completely up to him. But you know, I'm just taking everything easy, man. You know, I'm just being cool about it. Why didn't you say when? I did. Sorry, babe. Sorry. Okay. Deb, you're not getting angry now, you Deb. Deb, I'm not helping Emma, Deb. Someone send some to Andy Thorne as well, please, because he's not happy about me getting all this now.
He writes to himself.
Wait a minute, sorry. What an entrance. There must be a keeper in there. Steve keeps laughing at me, Neil.
Ian Wright, grow up.
Is that any good? Sure?
Who scored? When did he? What happened? How did they do it? Will they achieve it this season? If you want all the answers, if you're a real Palace fan, make sure you read the Croydon Advertiser every week.
I do. So place an order with your newsagent now. Keep up with the Eagles and the Croydon Advertiser.